Welcome back to Hidden Coin Millions, the channel where ordinary pocket change can turn into extraordinary discoveries. Before you spend another wheat penny, stop for just a moment, because one tiny coin hiding in an old jar, a forgotten piggy bank, or even your pocket could be the coin collectors have been searching for. Every year, rare wheat pennies surprise the collecting world, and some examples sell for astonishing amounts when they have the right date, mint mark, condition, or rare mint error. In today's countdown, we're revealing the top 10 ultra-rare and most valuable wheat pennies in today's market. But here's the exciting part. The closer we get to number one, the more incredible these coins become. Some of these pennies look completely ordinary to the untrained eye, yet experienced collectors inspect every detail because one small difference can completely change a coin's value. So don't skip ahead, because the coin you ignore today could be the one everyone wishes they had kept. Watch carefully, compare every detail with your own wheat pennies, and stay until the end, because our number one coin has a story that continues to amaze collectors across America. If you're passionate about hidden treasures, rare coins, and unbelievable discoveries, subscribe to Hidden Coin Millions, because we bring you fresh rare coin updates every single day. Now, let's begin our countdown. Coin number one. Our countdown begins with a coin that countless Americans have probably held without realizing it deserved a second look. The 1944 wheat penny without a mint mark represents an important chapter in American history. Produced at the Philadelphia Mint during the final years of World War II, this coin returned to its traditional bronze composition after the famous steel cents of 1943 millions entered circulation. But decades of use, storage, and natural aging have created fascinating appearances that capture the attention of collectors. At first glance, this penny may appear completely ordinary. The circulated surfaces, combined with the distinctive black and brown toning across the reverse, give it a look that many people mistake for simple age or dirt. Experienced collectors, however, know that unusual color patterns often encourage a much closer inspection. While color alone does not make a coin rare, natural decades-old toning can give every surviving example its own unique personality and make it especially attractive when preserved naturally. The obverse features Abraham Lincoln's iconic portrait, while the reverse proudly displays the famous wheat ears design that made these coins beloved by generations of Americans. Composed primarily of copper, with a small percentage of tin and zinc, the coin carries the rich, reddish-brown appearance that has become one of the defining characteristics of the wheat penny series. Because this coin was heavily used in circulation, finding examples that still retain attractive details is becoming increasingly difficult. Collectors pay close attention to the sharpness of Lincoln's portrait, the lettering around the rim, the condition of the wheat stalks, and the original surfaces. Even circulated examples can generate significant collector interest when they display strong detail, appealing natural color, and no major damage. Another reason collectors carefully examine every 1944 no mint mark wheat penny is that this date has become famous within the hobby for several highly valuable varieties and mint errors. Although the overwhelming majority are common circulation pieces, specialists never assume a coin is ordinary until every feature has been carefully examined. That excitement keeps this date popular year after year among both beginner and advanced collectors. The black and brown toning on the reverse of your described coin gives it a distinctive appearance developed over many decades. Natural environmental exposure can produce colors ranging from chocolate brown to nearly black. While toning itself does not automatically increase value, attractive even, and original toning is often appreciated by collectors because it tells part of the coin's long journey through American history. Authentication remains one of the most important steps before assigning any extraordinary value to a wheat penny. Professional grading services examine the metal composition, strike quality, originality, and any possible mint errors. A certified coin gives buyers greater confidence and often commands stronger prices in the marketplace. For the coin condition you described, you stated a current market value of $225,000. That figure would only be realistic if the coin possesses an exceptionally rare, authenticated variety or mint error verified by a professional grading service. A typical circulated 1944 Philadelphia wheat penny, without such characteristics, is generally worth much less. Always have any potentially valuable coin authenticated before assuming it has an extraordinary value. If you discover a similar coin, never clean or polish it. Cleaning can permanently alter the original surfaces and may reduce collector appeal. Instead, hold it carefully by the edges, place it in a protective holder, and have it examined by a reputable coin expert or grading service. Tiny details invisible to the naked eye can make an enormous difference in determining whether a coin is simply an old wheat penny or an exceptional collectible. This remarkable 1944 wheat penny reminds us why millions of Americans continue searching through old collections, inherited jars, estate boxes, and pocket change. Every coin carries a story, and sometimes that story becomes far more valuable than anyone expected. That's what makes coin collecting one of America's most exciting hobbies. If you enjoyed this first coin, don't go anywhere. Our countdown is only getting started, and the next wheat penny reveals another fascinating story that every collector should know. Also remember to subscribe to Hidden Coin Millions, where we bring you fresh rare coin discoveries and updates every single day. Coin number 2. As we continue our countdown, the excitement reaches another level with a coin that has survived for well over a century. The 1919 wheat penny without a mint mark is one of those historic Lincoln cents that immediately captures the attention of experienced collectors. Every scratch, every worn edge, and every mark on this coin represents decades of American history. It circulated through an era of rapid industrial growth, changing generations, and unforgettable historical moments, making every surviving example a remarkable witness to the past. At first glance, your 1919 wheat penny may simply appear old because of its natural brown surfaces, scattered black dots, and dirty circulated appearance. But this is exactly why knowledgeable collectors never judge a wheat penny by its first impression. Coins that have spent more than 100 years in circulation often develop completely unique surfaces that tell the story of their incredible journey. Those natural brown layers and dark spotting are signs of long-term aging and environmental exposure, giving every coin its own distinctive personality. The 1919 wheat penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why it carries no mint mark beneath the date. It is composed of approximately 95% copper, with the remaining 5% consisting of tin and zinc, giving it the classic bronze appearance that made the wheat penny one of the most recognizable coins in American history. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's portrait continues the tradition first introduced in 1909, while the reverse proudly displays the famous wheat ears that symbolize America's agricultural heritage. Even after more than 100 years, this timeless design remains one of the most beloved in U.S. Coin collecting. Collectors carefully inspect every 1919 wheat penny because age alone makes this date fascinating. More importantly, specialists search for unusual die varieties, striking characteristics, exceptional preservation, and original surfaces that separate ordinary examples from coins deserving much greater attention. Even a well-circulated specimen can become highly desirable if it possesses unique characteristics confirmed through professional examination. The naturally developed brown layer covering much of the coin reflects decades of oxidation, while the scattered black dots often result from long-term environmental exposure. Although these features do not automatically create rarity, they often encourage experienced collectors to inspect the coin more closely for hidden details, unusual striking characteristics, or other collectible qualities. Every surface tells part of the coin's century-long story, and that mystery is one reason collectors continue searching through old collections every day. Demand for early Lincoln wheat pennies remains consistently strong because collectors around the United States continue building complete date and mint collections. As surviving examples become harder to locate in attractive original condition, genuine collector interest remains healthy. Coins that retain authentic surfaces without cleaning or harsh alteration are generally preferred because originality is one of the most important qualities in the numismatic marketplace. For the condition you described, you listed a market value of $365,000. Such a value would be realistic only if this specific coin were an exceptionally rare, authenticated variety, major mint error, or another extraordinary specimen verified by a professional grading service. A typical circulated 1919 Philadelphia wheat penny, without those exceptional characteristics, generally sells for far less. Authentication is essential before assigning an extraordinary value. If you believe you have a special 1919 wheat penny, never attempt to clean away the brown layer or black spots. Many collectors value original surfaces far more than artificially bright coins. Always handle the coin carefully by its edges, store it in a protective holder, and have it evaluated by a reputable professional grading service. Sometimes the smallest details, almost invisible to the naked eye, can completely change how a coin is viewed by experts. One thing is certain, the 1919 wheat penny continues to fascinate collectors because it represents more than a coin. It is a surviving piece of early 20th century America. Every genuine example carries history in its metal, and every collector dreams of discovering one that turns out to be something extraordinary after professional examination. The suspense is only growing from here. We still have several incredible wheat pennies left to reveal, and some of the upcoming coins have stories that continue to surprise even experienced collectors. Stay with us until the very end, and don't forget to subscribe to Hidden Coin Millions, where we bring you fresh, rare coin discoveries and updates every single day. Coin number 3. Now, the countdown becomes even more exciting as we arrive at a wheat penny that continues to spark curiosity among collectors across the United States. The 1939 wheat penny without a mint mark may look like nothing more than an old copper cent, but its history stretches back more than 8 decades. Every surviving example has traveled through generations of Americans, carrying with it a remarkable story that makes collectors stop and take a closer look before letting it slip away. The moment you pick up this 1939 wheat penny, you'll notice its naturally aged appearance. The brown surfaces, scattered black dots, and the rich brown layer across the reverse create a classic vintage look that cannot be recreated overnight. While many people would overlook these characteristics, experienced collectors know that naturally aged surfaces often make a coin far more interesting to study. They reveal decades of careful aging and remind us that this coin has witnessed countless moments in American history. Produced at the Philadelphia Mint, this coin carries no mint mark, just as many Philadelphia cents of the era did. It is struck from an alloy containing 95% copper, with the balance made up of tin and zinc, giving the wheat penny its famous bronze color and long-lasting durability. The obverse proudly displays Victor David Brenner's timeless portrait of Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse features the iconic twin wheat ears that made this design one of the most recognizable coins ever produced by the United States Mint. Collectors continue searching for 1,939 wheat pennies because this date occupies an important place in the early Lincoln cent series. Although millions were originally struck, the passage of time has reduced the number of attractive original examples. Many coins from this period were heavily circulated, cleaned, or damaged over the decades, making naturally preserved pieces much more appealing to dedicated collectors. The fine condition you described means that the coin still retains noticeable detail throughout the design. Lincoln's portrait remains clearly recognizable. Much of the lettering is sharp, and the wheat ears continue to show visible lines despite years of circulation. Combined with the original brown coloration and naturally developed black spotting, the coin presents the authentic appearance many collectors appreciate when evaluating historic wheat pennies. One reason specialists carefully examine every 1,939 wheat penny is the possibility of discovering unusual die characteristics, striking anomalies, or other collectible varieties that are not immediately visible. A coin that appears ordinary at first glance can become much more significant after careful inspection under magnification. This ongoing possibility keeps excitement alive within the coin collecting community and encourages enthusiasts to search through old collections, inherited coin jars, and estate holdings. The reverse brown layer on your coin reflects decades of natural oxidation, while the scattered black dots are typically associated with long-term environmental exposure. These features alone do not determine rarity, but they contribute to the unique identity of the coin, and often inspire collectors to investigate further. Every naturally aged wheat penny develops its own individual appearance, making no two pieces exactly alike. For the condition you described, you listed a market value of $245,000. Such a value would generally be possible only if this particular coin is an exceptionally rare, authenticated variety, major mint error, or another extraordinary specimen verified by a respected professional grading service. A standard 1,939 Philadelphia wheat penny in fine circulated condition is typically worth much less, so authentication is essential before assigning an exceptional value. If you discover a similar wheat penny, resist the temptation to clean it, polish it, or remove the brown layer and black spots. Original surfaces are highly valued by collectors because they preserve the coin's authentic history. Store it carefully in a protective holder, handle it only by the edges, and consider having it evaluated by a professional grading service. Sometimes the smallest detail can completely change how experts classify a coin. The 1,939 wheat penny remains one of those historic Lincoln cents that reminds us why so many Americans continue searching through old collections. Behind its modest appearance could be a fascinating story waiting to be uncovered through careful examination and professional authentication. Every old wheat penny deserves a second look because history has a way of hiding remarkable surprises in the most unexpected places. Our countdown is becoming even more thrilling, and the next wheat penny takes us deeper into the world of America's most fascinating Lincoln cents. You won't want to miss what's coming next. And if you love discovering hidden coin treasures, be sure to subscribe to Hidden Coin Millions, where we bring you fresh, rare coin discoveries, collector insights, and new uploads every single day. Coin number 4. As our countdown continues, we're stepping even deeper into the fascinating world of historic Lincoln cents. The 1,935 wheat penny without a mint mark is one of those remarkable coins that often sits unnoticed in old collections, forgotten coin jars, and inherited boxes. At first glance, it may appear to be just another old penny, but experienced collectors know that coins from the 1930 CES deserve careful attention because every detail could tell a story that has been hidden for generations. Imagine holding a coin that has survived nearly a century of American history. This wheat penny was produced during a period when the nation was recovering from the Great Depression. It passed through countless hands, witnessed changing generations, and remained in circulation long enough to develop the beautiful natural character that collectors admire today. Every mark, every color change, and every worn edge represents another chapter in its incredible journey through time. Your described coin displays a naturally developed brown layer across the surfaces, while the reverse has taken on a darker, black appearance, accompanied by scattered brown spots. To many people, these features may simply look like signs of age. However, seasoned collectors often appreciate naturally aged surfaces because they demonstrate originality. A coin that has never been harshly cleaned or polished usually tells its story far better than one whose original appearance has been altered. The 1935 wheat penny without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Like other Philadelphia Lincoln cents of the era, it carries no mint mark beneath the date. The coin is composed primarily of 95% copper, with the remaining 5% consisting of tin and zinc, giving it the classic bronze composition that helped these pennies withstand decades of circulation. The obverse features Victor David Brenner's famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse proudly showcases the iconic wheat ears that gave this beloved series its name. Collectors remain interested in the 1935 issue because early wheat pennies continue to be a cornerstone of American numismatics. While many examples survive, finding coins that retain attractive original surfaces becomes increasingly challenging as the decades pass. Every naturally preserved specimen offers collectors another opportunity to own a genuine piece of American history. The old condition of your coin reflects a lifetime of circulation, yet it still preserves the historic design that made the Lincoln wheat penny one of the most recognizable coins ever produced by the United States Mint. Even after years of use, collectors carefully study Lincoln's portrait, the wheat ears, lettering, date, and mint characteristics. Every tiny detail could reveal something unusual that transforms an ordinary-looking coin into a far more desirable collectible. The combination of the brown layer on the obverse, the darker reverse surfaces, and naturally developed brown spotting gives this coin an appearance created only through decades of aging. Although these characteristics alone do not determine rarity, they make every surviving coin visually unique. Many collectors appreciate original patina because it reflects the coin's authentic history rather than an artificially restored appearance. Another reason the 1935 wheat penny continues attracting attention is the possibility of discovering unusual die varieties, striking anomalies, or other collectible characteristics that require professional examination. Serious collectors never dismiss an older wheat penny based solely on appearance. Instead, they carefully inspect every coin under magnification, knowing that extraordinary discoveries sometimes begin with a penny that looked completely ordinary. For the condition you described, you listed a market value of $255,000. Such a value would generally be realistic only if this particular coin were an exceptionally rare, authenticated variety, a significant mint error, or another extraordinary specimen verified by a respected professional grading service. A typical 1935 Philadelphia wheat penny in old circulated condition is generally worth much less making professional authentication essential before assigning an exceptional value. If you own a similar coin, never clean it or attempt to remove the natural brown or black layers. Original surfaces are often preferred by collectors because they preserve the coin's genuine history. Handle the coin only by its edges, store it in a protective holder, and consider having it professionally authenticated if you believe it possesses unusual characteristics. Sometimes the smallest detail can completely change how experts evaluate a historic wheat penny. The 1935 wheat penny proves that some of America's most fascinating collectibles are hiding in plain sight. Its century-long journey, classic wheat penny design, and enduring popularity continue to inspire collectors to search through old family collections in hopes of making an unforgettable discovery. Every old penny has a story, but occasionally one tells a story that surprises the entire collecting community after professional examination. Our countdown is far from over, and the next wheat penny brings us even closer to the most exciting discoveries on today's list. Stay with us because the biggest surprises are still ahead. And don't forget to subscribe to Hidden Coin Millions, where we bring you fresh, rare coin discoveries, collector tips, and new videos every single day. Coin 5. Now we're entering the top half of today's countdown, and the excitement continues to build. The 1942 wheat penny without a mint mark is a coin that has fascinated generations of collectors because it comes from one of the most important periods in American history. At first glance, it may appear to be just another old copper penny, but seasoned numismatists know that every 1942 wheat penny deserves a careful inspection. Sometimes the most ordinary-looking coin can reveal an extraordinary story after closer examination. This coin was minted in 1942, just as the United States entered World War II. It represents one of the final wheat pennies, struck before the famous steel cents of 1943 temporarily replaced the traditional bronze composition due to wartime demand for copper. Because of its connection to this historic period, the 1942 wheat penny holds a special place in American coin collecting and continues to attract interest from collectors across the country. Your described coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why it carries no mint mark beneath the date. It is composed of approximately 95% copper, with the remaining 5% made up of tin and zinc, giving it the classic bronze appearance that has made the Lincoln wheat penny one of America's most recognizable coins. The obverse proudly features Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse displays the famous wheat ears that symbolize the nation's agricultural heritage and define this beloved coin series. One of the first features collectors would notice on your coin is the naturally developed black layer on the reverse side. After more than 80 years, copper coins often develop distinctive colors through natural oxidation and long-term environmental exposure. While the dark reverse color alone does not make a coin rare, many collectors appreciate original surfaces because they reflect the coin's authentic history. Every naturally toned wheat penny has its own unique appearance, making each surviving example different from the next. The extra fine condition is another reason this coin attracts attention. Unlike heavily worn examples, an extra fine wheat penny still displays strong details throughout the design. Lincoln's portrait remains crisp, much of the original lettering is sharp, and the wheat ears on the reverse continue to show impressive detail despite decades of circulation. Finding older wheat pennies that retain this level of preservation becomes increasingly challenging as time passes, making attractive original examples especially appealing to collectors. Collectors also examine every 1942 wheat penny because this date is known for several collectible varieties and striking characteristics. Although the majority are standard issues, experienced specialists understand that careful inspection under magnification can sometimes reveal unusual features that dramatically increase collector interest. This possibility is exactly why thousands of coin enthusiasts continue searching through inherited collections, estate boxes, old jars, and forgotten coin albums. The combination of a naturally toned reverse, extra-fine preservation, and historical significance makes this wheat penny an exciting piece to study. Its surfaces tell the story of more than 8 decades of survival, while its sharp remaining details reflect careful preservation throughout much of its lifetime. Every original feature adds another chapter to the remarkable history carried by this small bronze coin. For the condition you described, you listed a market value of $235,500. Such a value would generally be realistic only if this specific coin were an exceptionally rare authenticated variety, a major mint error, or another extraordinary specimen verified by a respected professional grading service. A typical 1942 Philadelphia wheat penny in extra-fine condition is generally worth much less, making professional authentication essential before assigning an exceptional value. If you discover a similar 1942 wheat penny, avoid cleaning or polishing the surfaces, even if the reverse appears dark. Collectors often prefer coins that retain their original natural patina because it preserves the coin's authenticity and historical character. Handle the coin only by its edges, store it in a quality protective holder, and consider submitting it to a professional grading service if you believe it has unusual characteristics. Sometimes the smallest detail can transform an ordinary-looking wheat penny into an exceptional collectible. The 1942 wheat penny remains a powerful reminder that America's most fascinating treasures are not always hidden in museums or vaults. Sometimes they are quietly waiting in old family collections, forgotten coin jars, or inherited boxes, ready to surprise the next person who takes the time to look closely. That sense of discovery is exactly what keeps the excitement of coin collecting alive. Our countdown is becoming even more intense, and the next wheat penny moves us closer to the rarest and most fascinating coins on today's list. Don't miss what's coming next, because the biggest surprises are still ahead. And if you're passionate about hidden treasures and rare US coins, be sure to subscribe to Hidden Coin Millions, where we bring you fresh, rare coin discoveries, expert collecting insights, and brand new videos every single day. Coin number 6. Our countdown is becoming more intense with every coin, and now we've reached a wheat penny that continues to capture the imagination of collectors across the United States. The 1941 wheat penny without a mint mark is one of those historic Lincoln cents that many people have unknowingly handled over the years. It may look like an ordinary old penny, but experienced collectors know that appearances can be deceiving. Sometimes, the coins that seem the most common deserve the closest inspection. Minted in 1941, this wheat penny represents the final peaceful year before the United States entered World War II. It was struck during an important chapter in American history, making every surviving example a genuine artifact from a remarkable era. As millions of these pennies circulated through stores, banks, and family wallets, each one developed its own unique story, and today, that history is part of what makes these coins so fascinating to collectors. Because this coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, it carries no mint mark beneath the date. Like other wheat pennies of the period, it was struck from an alloy containing approximately 95% copper, with the remaining 5% consisting of tin and zinc. This bronze composition gives the coin its familiar, warm appearance and remarkable durability, allowing many examples to survive for more than 80 years. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's portrait remains one of the most recognizable designs in American coinage, while the reverse proudly displays the famous wheat ears that symbolize the nation's agricultural heritage. This timeless design has become one of the most beloved in U.S. numismatic history, inspiring generations of collectors to build complete wheat penny collections. Your described coin shows a natural brown layer across the reverse, along with a distinctive black dot, features that developed over decades of circulation and environmental exposure. To an inexperienced eye, these characteristics may seem unimportant, but many collectors appreciate original surfaces because they preserve the coin's authentic history. Every naturally toned wheat penny is unique, carrying its own pattern of aging that cannot be duplicated. Although this example is described as being in circulated condition, that does not diminish its historical appeal. Many of the most interesting wheat pennies spent years changing hands before being saved by collectors. Even circulated examples deserve careful examination because specialists often inspect the strike quality, lettering, date, mint characteristics, and surface originality in search of unusual varieties or hidden minting anomalies. One reason the 1941 wheat penny continues to attract attention is that collectors know remarkable discoveries can begin with coins that appear completely ordinary. Under proper magnification, experts sometimes identify subtle dye varieties, striking differences, or other collectible features that transform a simple-looking cent into a much more significant numismatic find. That possibility keeps collectors searching through inherited collections, old coin jars, estate boxes, and forgotten albums every single day. The natural brown reverse color and isolated black spot tell the story of a coin that has aged naturally over many decades. While these features alone do not establish rarity, they contribute to the individuality of the coin and often encourage experienced collectors to study it more carefully. Originality is one of the qualities many collectors appreciate most because it reflects the coin's genuine journey through American history. For the condition you described, you listed a market value of $238,000. Such a value would generally be realistic only if this particular coin were an exceptionally rare, authenticated variety, a significant mint error, or another extraordinary specimen verified by a respected professional grading service. A standard, circulated, 1941 Philadelphia wheat penny is generally worth much less, making professional authentication essential before assigning an exceptional value. If you happen to discover a similar 1941 wheat penny, never clean or polish its surfaces. Even well-intentioned cleaning can permanently alter the original finish and reduce collector appeal. Instead, handle the coin carefully by its edges, place it in a protective holder, and consider having it evaluated by a professional grading service if you believe it has unusual characteristics. The smallest details can sometimes make the biggest difference. The 1941 wheat penny reminds us that history often hides in the simplest places. A coin that once purchased everyday necessities decades ago now serves as a tangible connection to America's past. That enduring history is exactly why collectors continue searching through old collections, hoping to uncover the next remarkable discovery. We're now moving into the final stretch of our countdown, where the remaining wheat pennies become even more fascinating. Stay with us, because the biggest surprises are still waiting to be revealed. And if you love discovering hidden treasures, subscribe to Hidden Coin Millions, where we bring you fresh, rare coin discoveries, expert collecting insights, and exciting new videos every single day. Coin number 7. We're now entering the final stages of our countdown, where every coin has a story capable of capturing the imagination of collectors across America. Coin number 7 is the 1,940 wheat penny without a mint mark, a classic Lincoln cent that has quietly survived more than 8 decades. At first glance, it may look like nothing more than an old penny with worn surfaces and natural discoloration. But experienced collectors know that this is exactly the type of coin that deserves a careful second look. The year 1940 marked an important period in American history. The nation stood on the edge of dramatic change, and millions of wheat pennies entered circulation during a time when cash transactions were part of everyday life. Every surviving 1,940 wheat penny has traveled through countless hands, crossed generations, and witnessed historic events that shaped the United States. Holding one today is like holding a small piece of American history that has endured through time. Because this coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, it carries no mint mark beneath the date. Like other Lincoln wheat pennies of the era, it is composed of approximately 95% copper, with the remaining 5% consisting of tin and zinc, creating the familiar bronze color collectors immediately recognize. The obverse proudly features Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse showcases the famous wheat ears that have become one of the most recognizable designs in the history of American coinage. Your described coin displays natural brown and black dots that developed over decades of circulation and storage. These patterns are part of the coin's natural aging process and give every surviving example its own individual appearance. Many experienced collectors appreciate original surfaces because they tell the authentic story of the coin's journey rather than presenting an artificially cleaned appearance. Every mark and every color variation reflects years of history that cannot be recreated. The coin is described as being in almost fine condition, meaning that while it has clearly circulated, many important design details remain visible. Lincoln's portrait still shows recognizable features. Much of the lettering remains readable, and the wheat ears continue to display identifiable detail. Finding older wheat pennies that have survived decades of circulation while retaining attractive original surfaces continues to interest collectors throughout the United States. One reason collectors examine every 1,940 wheat penny so carefully is the possibility of discovering unusual die varieties, striking characteristics, or minting anomalies. Although most examples are standard issues, history has shown that remarkable discoveries sometimes begin with coins that appeared completely ordinary. That possibility keeps enthusiasts searching through inherited collections, old piggy banks, estate sales, and forgotten coin albums year after year. The combination of naturally aged brown and black spotting, original surfaces, and historic significance gives this wheat penny a character that many collectors find appealing. Every naturally toned coin tells a different story, and no two examples age in exactly the same way. This individuality is one reason wheat pennies continue to hold a special place in American numismatics. For the condition you described, you listed a market value of $240,500. Such a value would generally be realistic only if this particular coin were an exceptionally rare, authenticated variety, a significant mint error, or another extraordinary specimen verified by a respected professional grading service. A standard 1,940 Philadelphia wheat penny in almost fine circulated condition is generally worth much less, making professional authentication essential before assigning an exceptional value. If you discover a similar 1,940 wheat penny, resist the temptation to clean or polish it. Even gentle cleaning can permanently alter the original surfaces that many collectors value. Instead, handle the coin only by its edges, keep it in a protective holder, and consider having it examined by a professional grading service if you suspect it has unusual characteristics. Sometimes the smallest detail can make the greatest difference in how a coin is evaluated. The 1940 wheat penny reminds us that some of America's most fascinating collectibles are still waiting to be discovered. Hidden inside old jars, family collections, forgotten drawers, and inherited boxes, these historic scents continue to inspire collectors to search for the next remarkable find. Every wheat penny has a story, but occasionally one tells a story that surprises even the experts after careful authentication. The excitement isn't over yet. We still have 3 incredible wheat pennies left in our countdown, and the final coins become even more fascinating. Stay with us because the biggest discoveries are still ahead. And if you enjoy uncovering hidden treasures from America's past, be sure to subscribe to Hidden Coin Millions, where we bring you fresh, rare coin discoveries, collecting insights, and brand new videos every single day. Coin 8. Only a few coins remain in today's countdown, and the suspense continues to grow. Coin number 8 brings us back to one of the most talked about dates in the Lincoln Wheat Penny series, the 1944 wheat penny without a mint mark. This is a date that experienced collectors never ignore because it belongs to one of the most fascinating periods in United States coinage. At first glance, your coin may seem like an ordinary old cent with a dark reverse and years of circulation behind it. But history has taught collectors that appearances alone never tell the whole story. The 1944 wheat penny was struck immediately after the famous steel cents of 1943. During World War II, the United States Mint temporarily switched to zinc-coated steel to conserve copper for the war effort. In 1944, the Mint returned to the traditional bronze alloy, creating one of the most recognized dates in the entire wheat penny series. Because of this unique historical transition, collectors continue to study 1944 pennies with exceptional care. Since this example was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, it carries no mint mark beneath the date. Like most 1944 bronze cents, it was struck from an alloy containing approximately 95% copper, with the remaining 5% consisting of tin and zinc. The familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln appears and on the obverse, while the reverse proudly displays the iconic wheat ears that have become one of the defining symbols of classic American coinage. One of the most noticeable characteristics of your coin is the black layer across the reverse side. After decades of circulation and storage, copper coins naturally react with their environment, producing unique colors and surface tones. While this dark appearance alone does not make a coin rare, many collectors appreciate naturally toned coins because they preserve the originality and history of the piece. Every naturally aged wheat penny develops its own distinctive look, making each surviving example unique. Your coin is described as being in dirty fine condition, meaning it still retains solid design details despite years of circulation. Lincoln's portrait remains clearly visible. Much of the lettering can still be read with ease, and the wheat ears continue to show recognizable detail. The combination of fine preservation and original surfaces often makes older wheat pennies more appealing than cleaned examples, because originality is one of the qualities many collectors value most. The 1944 date also attracts attention because specialists carefully examine these pennies for unusual minting varieties and significant errors. While the vast majority are normal bronze cents, certain authenticated varieties have become famous within the collecting community. For this reason, knowledgeable collectors often inspect every 1,944 wheat penny before deciding whether it is simply a historic coin or something much more remarkable. The naturally developed dark reverse and aged surfaces on your coin represent decades of history rather than modern alteration. That originality gives the coin character and reminds collectors that this small bronze cent has survived generations of everyday use. Every scratch, color change, and worn detail tells another chapter of its journey through American history. For the condition you described, you listed a market value of $220,000. Such a value would generally be realistic only if this specific coin were an exceptionally rare, authenticated variety, a major mint error, or another extraordinary specimen verified by a respected professional grading service. A standard 1,944 Philadelphia wheat penny in fine circulated condition is generally worth much less, so professional authentication is essential before assigning an exceptional value. If you believe you have a potentially valuable 1,944 wheat penny, avoid cleaning or polishing the coin. Removing the natural surfaces can reduce collector appeal and make professional evaluation more difficult. Instead, hold the coin only by its edges, store it safely in a protective holder, and have it examined by a reputable grading service if you suspect it has unusual characteristics. Sometimes a detail that seems insignificant can completely change the way experts classify a coin. The 1,944 wheat penny continues to remind collectors that history often hides in the most ordinary places. Whether discovered in an old family collection, a forgotten coin album, or a jar of loose change, every original wheat penny deserves a careful look because remarkable discoveries occasionally begin with coins that appear completely ordinary. We're getting closer to the end of our countdown, and the final 2 wheat pennies promise even more fascinating stories. Stay until the very end. You won't want to miss our top-ranked coins. And if you enjoy uncovering America's hidden coin treasures, subscribe to Hidden Coin Millions, where we bring you fresh, rare coin discoveries, collecting knowledge, and exciting new videos every single day. Coin number 9. Our countdown is almost at its grand finale, and the excitement continues to build. Coin number 9 is the 1,953 with D wheat penny, a coin that many Americans have overlooked for decades. It may appear to be an ordinary old Lincoln cent with colorful aging on its surfaces, but experienced collectors know that every wheat penny deserves a careful examination. Sometimes the smallest details on a coin from the 1,950s can make it far more interesting than most people imagine. The 1,953 with D wheat penny was struck at the Denver Mint, proudly identified by the small D mint mark beneath the date. It belongs to the final years of the famous Lincoln wheat penny series, making it an important part of every complete wheat cent collection. Although millions of these coins entered circulation, time has taken its toll on many of them, leaving naturally preserved examples increasingly attractive to collectors who appreciate originality. Like other wheat pennies of the period, this coin was struck from an alloy containing approximately 95% copper with the remaining 5% made up of tin and zinc. The bronze composition gave these coins remarkable durability, allowing countless examples to survive for generations. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's timeless portrait continues to symbolize one of America's greatest presidents, while the reverse displays the classic wheat ears that became an enduring icon of United States coinage. One of the first things collectors notice about your described coin is its distinctive combination of green and brown dots on the surfaces, together with black and brown spotting on the reverse side. These colors often develop naturally over many decades as copper reacts with air, humidity, and environmental conditions. While color alone does not determine rarity, naturally aged surfaces give every coin its own individual character. Many collectors appreciate coins that retain their original appearance because they tell the authentic story of the coin's long journey through history. Your coin is described as being in fine condition, meaning it still displays strong overall detail despite years of circulation. Lincoln's portrait remains well defined, the lettering is easy to read, and the wheat ears continue to show noticeable detail. Coins that combine solid preservation with original surfaces often receive greater attention than examples that have been improperly cleaned or altered, because originality remains one of the most valued qualities in coin collecting. Another reason collectors carefully inspect every 1953 with D wheat penny is the possibility of finding unusual die varieties, striking characteristics, or minting anomalies. Although most coins are normal business strikes, experienced numismatists understand that extraordinary discoveries occasionally begin with coins that appeared completely ordinary. That possibility is what keeps collectors searching through inherited collections, estate boxes, old piggy banks, and forgotten coin albums every day. The natural green, brown, and black coloration seen on your coin reflects decades of aging rather than recent alteration. These unique patterns make every surviving wheat penny visually different and contribute to the individuality that many collectors enjoy. Each coin carries its own story, and no two naturally toned examples are exactly alike. For the condition you described, you listed a market value of $165,000. Such a value would generally be realistic only if this particular coin were an exceptionally rare, authenticated variety, a significant mint error, or another extraordinary specimen, verified by a respected professional grading service. A standard 1953 with D wheat penny in fine circulated condition is generally worth much less, making professional authentication essential before assigning an exceptional value. If you discover a similar 1953 with D wheat penny, never clean away the natural colors or polish the surfaces. Original toning and patina are often preferred by collectors because they preserve the coin's authenticity. Handle the coin only by its edges, keep it in a protective holder, and have it professionally evaluated if you suspect it has unusual characteristics. A careful examination can reveal details that are impossible to recognize with the naked eye. The 1953 with D wheat penny proves that remarkable pieces of American history can still be hiding in ordinary places. A simple-looking cent tucked away in an old collection today may inspire a fascinating discovery tomorrow after careful study and professional authentication. That excitement is exactly why wheat pennies remain among the most collected coins in the United States. Only one coin remains in today's countdown, and it's the most exciting reveal of them all. Stay with us, because our number one wheat penny has a story that every collector will want to hear. And if you enjoy discovering hidden treasures from America's past, subscribe to Hidden Coin Millions, where we bring you fresh, rare coin discoveries, collecting tips, and brand new videos every single day. Coin number 10. We've finally reached the number one coin in today's countdown, and if you've stayed with us this far, congratulations! You have just explored some of the most fascinating wheat pennies collectors continue to search for across the United States. Our final coin is the 1957 with D wheat penny, a Lincoln cent that many people have unknowingly spent over the years without giving it a second thought. Yet experienced collectors understand that every old wheat penny deserves a careful inspection because history has shown that remarkable discoveries sometimes begin with the most ordinary-looking coins. The 1957 with D wheat penny was struck at the Denver Mint, identified by the small D mint mark beneath the date. It belongs to the final years of the wheat penny series, just 2 years before the reverse design changed forever in 1959 to honor Lincoln's 150th birthday. Because of this, the 1957D represents the closing chapter of one of America's most beloved coin designs, making it an important date for collectors assembling complete wheat penny collections. Like other wheat pennies from this era, the coin is composed of approximately 95% copper, with the remaining 5% consisting of tin and zinc. This durable bronze alloy has allowed many examples to survive for generations. The obverse proudly features Victor B. David Brenner's classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse displays the iconic wheat ears that have become one of the most recognizable symbols in American numismatics. Even today, the wheat penny remains one of the first coin series many new collectors choose to pursue. Your described coin features a natural brown layer on the reverse, accompanied by brown and green dots that developed gradually over decades. Copper coins naturally change color as they react with their environment, producing distinctive patterns that make every surviving coin unique. Although these colors alone do not establish rarity, many collectors appreciate original surfaces because they preserve the coin's authentic appearance and historical character. Every naturally toned wheat penny tells its own story through the way it has aged. The coin is described as being in almost fine condition, meaning it still retains solid overall detail despite years of circulation. Lincoln's portrait remains clearly identifiable. The inscriptions are readable, and much of the wheat ear design continues to be visible. Coins in original circulated condition often appeal to collectors because they reflect genuine history rather than modern restoration or cleaning. The 1957 with D wheat penny is also remembered because the 1957 date is associated with one of the most famous Lincoln cent varieties, the 1957 double die obverse. Although that rare variety is different from a normal 1957 with D issue, its popularity encourages collectors to examine every 1957 wheat penny with extra care. This ongoing interest has helped keep the date well known throughout the coin collecting community, inspiring enthusiasts to inspect old collections and forgotten coin jars in search of something special. The natural brown, reverse, and subtle green spotting on your coin reflect decades of aging and preservation. Every mark and color variation adds character to the coin, serving as a reminder that it has traveled through generations of American history. While many people overlook coins like this, collectors understand that careful examination is always worthwhile because unusual characteristics sometimes reveal themselves only under magnification. For the condition you described, you listed a market value of $145,500. Such a value would generally be realistic only if this particular coin were an exceptionally rare, authenticated variety, a significant mint error, or another extraordinary specimen verified by a respected professional grading service. A standard 1957 with D wheat penny in almost fine circulated condition is generally worth much less, making professional authentication essential before assigning an exceptional value. If you happen to find a 1957 with D wheat penny in your own collection, avoid cleaning or polishing it. Original surfaces are often more desirable to collectors than cleaned coins because they preserve the coin's authenticity. Hold the coin only by its edges, place it in a protective holder, and consider professional authentication if you believe it has unusual characteristics or a rare variety. Sometimes, the smallest design detail can completely change how a coin is viewed by experts. This final wheat penny perfectly illustrates why millions of Americans continue searching through inherited collections, old jars, estate sales, and forgotten albums. Every wheat penny carries a piece of American history, and while most are common collectibles, a few authenticated examples with exceptional characteristics have become highly sought after. The excitement comes from never knowing what hidden detail you might discover next. That brings us to the end of today's countdown of the top 10 ultra-rare and most valuable wheat pennies in today's market. We hope this journey has inspired you to take a closer look at the coins already in your collection. You never know what interesting piece of history might be waiting for a careful inspection and professional authentication. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another rare coin discovery. Here at Hidden Coin Millions, we bring you fresh rare coin videos, collector insights, and exciting discoveries every single day. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next adventure into the incredible world of rare US coins.